Here are 4 General Electric halogen light bulbs. I'm not sure exactly how old these are, so I don't know if they are just General Electric branded or if they was actually made by General Electric. There's 2 different kinds here. We have 3 60-watt equivalent bulbs and 1 100-watt equivalent bulb. The 60-watt equivalent bulbs claim to draw only 50 watts, output 830 lumens, which is a very reasonable brightness for a 60-watt bulb, and it also claims to last 2,000 hours. The 100-watt equivalent bulb claims to draw 90 watts, output 1,680 lumens, which is very reasonable for a 100-watt bulb, and it also claims to last 2,000 hours. Now there's something kind of weird about this information because the efficiency of the 100-watt equivalent and the 60-watt equivalent is not the same. I made some notes here just to compare it to other bulbs. So for comparison purposes, we know that a 60-watt equivalent CFL is typically rated for around 13 watts, more or less given the brand and the quality, etc. And we know that a 100-watt equivalent CFL typically draws around 23 watts. And so if we calculate the percentage of power used compared to an incandescent bulb, it's approximately the same, which is about 23%. And if we look at halogen bulbs, I took this data from the EcoSmart bulbs that I use around the house. A 60-watt equivalent bulb draws 43 watts, and the 100-watt equivalent bulbs draw 72 watts. And so, again, the efficiency is the same. They both draw 72% of the power of a typical incandescent bulb. Then we move into these GE bulbs, and the 60-watt equivalent claims to draw 50 watts, which is 83% of the power drawn by a standard 60-watt incandescent light bulb, and the 100-watt equivalent claims to draw 90 watts, which is 90% of the power draw of a typical incandescent bulb. So not only are these very inefficient for halogen bulbs, the efficiency between the different wattages is not linear, which is kind of bizarre. So I wonder if that's actually true or if something is wrong with this data. Now we can't necessarily compare these bulbs to these bulbs because I did not check to compare what the actual light output is of these EcoSmart bulbs. In fact, I think it's lower. I think that the 100-watt equivalent bulbs only claim to output 1,200 lumens, and then the 60-watt ones only claim to output 630, and then the 40 watts, which is not listed here, I believe claim to output like 430. Actually, I have one right here. 600 lumens for the 60 watt. Okay, so I was close. I thought it was 630, but it's 600 watts for the 43 bulb, whereas this one is we said this was 830. So it does use more power, but it also outputs more light, allegedly. So maybe these bulbs are not less efficient than these, but the inconsistency in the efficiency is still odd. Before we move on, I just want to underscore one other thing while we're talking about efficiency. And this is to explain part of why I don't understand the LED craze. CFLs took the power draw from a 60-watt bulb down to 13 watts. So the CFL saved, 78% of the electricity. That's huge. That's 78% of a pretty large amount of electricity. Then the LED come along, and a typical LED bulb, and again this varies based on quality and cost and whatever, A 60 watt equivalent LED bulb is typically somewhere between 7 and 9 watts. Now, the advertisements are going to go and say, well, that's half the power. Well, 7 watts is about half the power of 13, but it's half of 22%, which is not much. And if you go from using 13 watt CFLs to using 7 watt LEDs, unless you're running 50 or 75 light bulbs around the clock, you're not really going to notice a difference. So that's one of the reasons why I don't understand and don't agree with replacing working fluorescent equipment with LED. But that's just a side note. So back to these light bulbs. I recognize these light bulbs. I don't recall if I saw them somewhere in a store, or I think if I would have seen them somewhere else, in recent times I would have bought them. But I kind of recognize the shape. It's a very odd shape. Is there anything else interesting on here? I don't see a date on here anywhere, which kind of stinks, because I would like to know when these are from. It says, it's all in Spanish, but it says it's made in Mexico. So let's take a look at the bulb itself. So here's the bulb itself. It's kind of a peculiar shape, but it looks to me, it's kind of hard to see. It seems even harder to see in the camera. But while operating in person, it seems to me like this is just a standard halogen bulb with the little capsule inside the glass. You can kind of see it there. This looks like a basic capsule in there. And I think that that's what it is, because the box even confirms that it can operate with broken glass. It says, cracked or broken bulbs that still light should be replaced immediately. The inner tube of the GE halogen lamp is pressurized, operates at high temperature, and could unexpectedly shatter with the possibility of property damage or personal injury. So that would lead me to believe that there is just a basic capsule in here. So why the glass is so thick, I have no idea. This is the weight of 5+ light bulbs. This is ridiculous. The top of it is so thick, it looks like a glass jar or something. It says Halogen, General Electric. And on the bottom it says H070, 120 volts, 50 watts, GE. So I don't know what's up with these super thick housings. These do claim to last 2,000 hours, which is about twice as long as typical. But I don't see why that thick glass alone would cause the lifespan to go up double. Well, let's go ahead and plug these things in and see what they look like. I have no idea if they work. A lot of times the light bulbs at the Goodwill seem to be used. But I don't know, these seem like they might be new. So as of this filming, we have 119.4 the volts coming into the studio through the flaky wiring I still need to redo. Let's go ahead and screw this in and see what the light looks like. Okay, it's on. It's drawing 51 watts, 0.43 amps with a power factor of 1. So it is in fact drawing the amount of power that it claims to draw. It does look brighter than those EcoSmart ones that I have downstairs here in the the lights. So I think that that's why it draws more power, because those Echo Smart ones are only 600 lumens, which is within the range of a 60 watt bulb, but it's on the very low end. This is on the high end, which is better. And it says whiter energy saving light. So I guess it's inferring that it's 3000 Kelvin as opposed to 27, which is often the case with halogen. And since this is, it's not clear, but it's almost clear, the color temperature of the halogen capsule is not being changed at all by the, or not being changed much by the bulb itself. So we turn the lights off here. Yeah, that's about right for a 60 watt bulb. The quality of light is excellent, of course. The color rendering is very good. There's no flicker, there's no glare, there's nothing uncomfortable about it. So it's a perfectly good bulb. It kind of has that inside frosted appearance. Maybe it is inside frosted, I don't know. I turned this off before, I can't swap it out for one of the 100 watts. It has that old-fashioned inside frosted appearance to it, which is kind of interesting. It did get warm, but not anywhere near as warm as I thought it would be. I guess that's because the glass is so thick it's going to take some time to warm up. So now let's go over to the, these sit in the box like this, I guess. Now let's go over to the 100 watts and let's see what this looks like. Jeez, somebody really wanted to make sure that these sold for $3 a piece and that nobody tampered with the stickers. The local Goodwill around here changed to these stickers like a year ago maybe, and they're awful. It always leaves sticky residue. I really don't think that people changing the pricing on $3 items is that big of a problem, or happens that often that we need to use these crazy stickers, but apparently somebody at Goodwill somewhere thinks that. 120 volts, 90 watts, GE. It says 14 on the top. The other one said, it said something different. The other one said 11. Okay, here we go. Power draw. 89 watts, 0.74 amps, power factor of 1. So it does in fact draw the 90 watts like it claims. And it's bright. This is definitely a 100 watts equivalent bulb. It's very bright. And as with the other one, the color rendering is good. The quality of light is excellent. No flicker, nothing weird going on with the camera. No banding on the image. It's good, clean light, the way it should be. No banding at all. Alright, so these are very interesting bulbs. Hopefully all 4 of them work. I'm not going to test every one on video, but I think that they're new. Very, very strange. If anybody knows when these were made, let me know.